Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PS Vita review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 Plus, which if you've never played it before, it's an action-adventure game. I absolutely love the Ninja Gaiden games. I was never too keen on Sigma 2, so I thought I'd try it out for the Vita. Mainly because I had the first one on the Vita as well, and if they ever release Razor's Edge for the Vita or Plus 3, then I'll probably get that as well, because I like having them all on one place and on the handheld especially, because having games like this on the go is one of the reasons to own a handheld, really. It's why these will always beat out iPads and things like that. As great as iPads are, got one myself, absolutely love it, but quite frankly, as much as I love Cut the Rope, sometimes you just want to be able to sit and play a game like this for 4 or 5 hours on end. So, at the start, you've got new game. You can then load your game once you've saved. You've got tag missions, which are one of the new things to it. You've got ninja records. You've got the prologue, which is like a comic that was released as part of a collector's edition of the original Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and now it's available for everyone who gets this. Options. When you go into it, you've got quite a few things you can do, being as it's a Ninja Gaiden game. You've got game settings, controller settings, camera settings, screen settings, just all sorts of things that you can do. Tag missions, I'll probably start by showing one of these off because of the new thing. Basically, for those who don't know, who never actually played Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, the game had co-op missions. They've totally removed the co-op missions, and now you've got tag missions where you play them with yourself with a computer AI, and you can swap character while you go through them, and you get a choice between different characters right from the get-go. So I'll choose Ayane because I'm probably going to be playing as Ryu for the majority of it anyway, and I might as well have my partner as Ryu, to be fair. Loading times, seeing as you've seen it already on Mission Start for ages and then it came up loading, I might as well mention loading times are pretty damn bad for this game, for the Vita. I'll never understand how handhelds get more and more powerful, yet loading times seem to get longer and longer. And considering everyone said that the loading times wouldn't be a problem at all because Sony were moving to cartridges like Nintendo, well, quite frankly, I'd like to see what those people are saying now, because I think the loading times on the Vita is atrocious, and this is just yet another one in a long list. It's one of those though. Gameplay wise, I think it plays really well. There's a lot of people saying the frame rate drops and it ruins their whole game, and quite frankly I've never understood frame rate arseholes, and apologies if that causes offence, but that's pretty much what I think. If you are that picky that you can literally, when the game starts to blur or things like that, purely because too much is happening on the game, and therefore the developers obviously got a little bit too overzealous and thought that the Vita or something, or that whatever system can handle it, and then for people to kick off as if it's something so massively important, as if it was like a severe control glitch that totally stopped you from being able to hit the attack button, when really all it is it messes with the visuals for a little bit, might slow the game down for a little bit. It's nothing too, awful. Granted, it can be worse on games that are designed for speed, and that's the whole point of Ninja Gaiden, I suppose. And it's why what I'm about to say is probably going to sound stupid, but I actually think the Vita version's faster than the PS3 version. I didn't like the PS3 version at all. I didn't like the pacing of it. I didn't like anything. The combat and everything about the game just felt wrong, and I couldn't get into it. I couldn't enjoy it. I never beat it, so I thought, fine, sod it, I'll just skip to Ninja Gaiden 3 when it comes out. Then obviously that was a marvellous time, as Ninja Gaiden 3 was absolutely awful until the Wii U version. And then when I found out about this, I thought, well, I'll give it a go and see if they've worked on it, and I personally think they have. I think it plays really well. Anyway, while I will be playing as Ryu for the large majority of it, I will just swap to Ryu now, just to simply show that it is a swap ability. There's a couple unlockables to do with the game. There's things like Ninja Race Mode, which is like a time attack, and once you beat certain parameters on that, you'll unlock a turbo mode for the tag missions. And apart from that, though, there's like a couple costumes and things. It's your usual stuff. It's just the usual Ninja Gaiden game. As you go through, you'll find new weapons, and you may not find them all in your first playthrough type of thing. There's secrets hidden all over the place. The weapon system, I think, is fantastic. Some of my favourites, like the Vigoran Flails, return, and there's some new ones as well. I think there's a couple new ones just for the Vita too, but I haven't actually found any of them yet. And it's just one of those that it's basically the PS3 game but tweaked a bit. I think it's a better version overall. There's a lot of people who disagree with me and say that it's a worse version because of the frame rate issues. Some people are really kicking off because the Japanese voice acting's been taken out. I must admit, I've never really cared about having different voice acting other than the languages that I understand. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to learn Japanese. It's one of my life goals. It will probably never happen, but I'd love to learn how to read kanji and understand and speak Japanese. But for now, seeing as I only speak and read English, and not very well at times, I'm quite happy enough with the game just being in English. Right then, I'll go into the main story and I'll mention a few more things about that. And apologies about that noise, that was just a text. Anyway, once again apologies about that. Simply got me times mixed up, thought someone was finishing work at a different time, so didn't bother muting it, wish I had. So, it hopefully won't go off again, because I have muted it now. Anyway, the story of the game is decent. I think it's better than the story of 3, but I don't think it's as good as the story of 1. I'm not really going to mention anything spoiler-wise, though, in case you are really into your story in your games, but I think it's good enough to get you from A to B and to just make it more than just a mindless, senseless killing game, you know. Not that there's anything wrong with those sorts of games, especially when they're incredibly difficult like this. Although, as it's a plus game, then it basically means that you do have the extra difficulty level, the one that automatically blocks for you and does a load of things to make it so that anyone can play the game. And it's the type of thing that hardcore players will cringe at, and it's something that not every game should have. But I suppose, seeing as it doesn't hinder us, it's one of the few times that I'm actually okay with it. If it, you know, replaced a super and mega evil difficulty, then I'd be a little bit annoyed, but actually it's got an even harder difficulty added to it. I believe that is one of the 2 new features, well, not 2 new features, one of the new features is the fact that it's got 2 new difficulty levels, one that's stupidly easy and one that's stupidly hard. Either that or you just simply get the stupidly hard one unlocked from the get-go, and that's why I'm thinking that it didn't have a different one, because as I've already mentioned, I'd never actually beat this game on the PS3 because I wasn't a fan. Graphically, I do think it looks nice and works well. Yes, there are a couple of frame rate issues, but personally I think it is nothing at all that ruins the game. You've got limb and decapitation type things. I don't know if decapitation is the right word, because I thought that was just, you know, when your head gets cut off. But removable limbs, I suppose, is what I should be saying. You've got that on the game, so it's quite almost sick at times when you can actually aim up someone, cut their leg off, they won't die, they'll keep coming at you, so you have to go at them again, or you'll cut a guy's arm off, but because he still has one sword in his other arm, he'll still come at you. I was going to say cool, because I suppose at least it means, again, it's adding difficulty, because the enemies really are relenting, they don't just give up, but it is a little bit sick at times as well. But there's not really much else I can actually mention about the game, just the things that I actually came on to see in the first place. It's got 17 chapters, nothing new has been added for the Vita, there's no exclusive Vita chapters for the female characters or Ryu or anything like that. You still get the same game you're getting with Ninja Gaiden Sigma. There's 30 crystal skulls, at least I think they're crystal. There's 30 skulls to collect, rather than collecting golden scarabs like in 1 and I believe in 3. And it's just one of those. It's the sort of game that you'll probably play more than once. If you're a huge fan, you'll definitely play it more than once. If you're new to the series and you're just getting into them, you'll probably play the 2 of them, or 3 of them now, more than once, because you'll want to try and find things like... It could be something as simple as when I first got the game, where I found a video on YouTube of someone using a weapon, and I thought, that looks awesome, where do I get it? Hang on a second, I should have got it 4 chapters ago. Looks like I'm replaying the game then, just to get the weapon. It's a sort of thing that you'll probably have that same experience. You'll find out one of your mates, or you'll just see a video out the corner of your eye, and you'll see something and you'll think, I didn't get that. Oh, well, I might as well do it again and try and get it. It's the beauty of the Ninja Gaiden games. I think they're very replayable for that reason. As well as obviously you'll learn new skills and new abilities and nimpos and things like that, and there's a lot of replayability with just different play styles. You could play through the game entirely using your sword if you want to, or you could play using every single weapon you get, or you could limit yourself to 2 or 3 weapons. There is a lot of options available to you. So it's one of those. If you've never played the series before, definitely start with 1, especially if you're on a Vita and that's why you're watching this vid. If you have played the series before, then you might as well start with a new one, I suppose, unless you're wanting a refresher course with the first one, and unless you can find it incredibly cheap, because it's probably the cheaper of the two now, seeing as it's the older one. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.